It's the first loss of the season for the Central Coast Mariners after they went down 2-1 to Wellington Phoenix down in what was a very cold and windy wind stadium at Wollongong. A lot of W's, but not a W for the Central Coast Mariners. And, overall, straight off the bat, it wasn't a bad performance from the Central Coast. It really wasn't. Heading into this game, in regards to lineups, Benny Kalola was out with injury, which meant that Damien Sekenis was shifted in for his A-League debut. So congratulations to Damien for making his A-League starting debut. It meant that Cy Goddard was shifted out to the left, Nisbet starting on the right-hand side. The first half was pretty entertaining. There were chances for both sides. I felt like the Mariners controlled the ball a little bit better in the middle of the park. I thought Ollie Bozanic was great today. He was marshalling things as always, and was really on his game alongside Max Ballard as well. Josh Nisbet was linking up some nice things in attack. Stormroo, the fullbacks especially finding a lot of space to shift forward. The way that Phoenix play generally pretty narrow, with their wide players sort of tucking in, allowed for the likes of Farrell and Storm to have a bit of free real estate pushing forward into the opposition half. And honestly, I was half expecting to see a goal in that first half, the way it was heading. But for Wellington Phoenix as well, they actually managed to produce some pretty decent chances, also challenging Mark Birighitti. Beers having to make some saves in that first half. But it was that second half that really exploded into life. Mark Birighitti forced into a save early in that second half. And the goal came in the following corner. Gary Hooper touching the ball in from close range. Question marks around a potential foul in Birighitti. You saw the Mariners players, and especially Birighitti, protesting to the referee. Upon watching, I was there at the stadium, and I didn't see anything illegal. And watching the replays, it's hard to tell, to be honest. I don't see anything clear and obvious that where Birighitti was, absolutely taken out of play. There's always a scuffle, and players, opposition players always get close to goalkeepers, but to be honest, I don't think I saw anything illegal towards Birighitti. But Mariners equalised just a few moments later. It was a terrible error at the back from Josh Laws. And Marco Renia opening his account for this season, which is hugely important because I think Marco is going to be key for the Mariners this season. He has the potential to get into the double digits at least when it comes to scoring goals for the Mariners this season in the A-League. So at that point, the second half was nicely placed moving forward. Both teams had found the back of the net. And honestly, I felt like the Mariners were the more likely team heading into that second half. But 63rd minute, Josh Sotirio found a second goal for Wellington Phoenix. And this one, it was a bit of a weird one. It felt like it came out of nothing. The ball sort of came over to Sotirio. Mariners' defense shifted over. Farrell was there, and just the slight deflection headed into the far post. It sort of, I think the tiny deflection sort of put Birighitti off. Had it not taken that little deflection, it probably would have headed, reasonably close to Birighitti. He probably would have been able to make a pretty easy save. But that little deflection, just taking it to that far post, it wasn't the most powerful shot in the end. A goal that sort of just felt like it came out of nothing. All of a sudden, Phoenix once again had the lead. The substitutes came on and made somewhat of an impact. I thought Harry Steele was great, making his second appearance in the A-League. Of course, he featured off the bench in the F3 derby. He looked really good. He had some nice little pieces of possession here and there, linking up the play. He replaced Max Ballard in the middle of the park. Muresh came on, and again, I don't think he's quite up to full fitness, or whether he's not fully settled into the A-League yet. You still get the sense that Muresh is still a little bit all over the place in terms of his play. There's no doubt he's got pace and agility, and he seems like a very attacking, direct player. But hopefully he can just build up some confidence and get that first goal for the Mariners. I think it will come sooner rather than later for Muresh. Matt Hatch had some fantastic opportunities. I thought he looked really, really dangerous, but just lacked that finishing touch. There was a couple of chances where he was cutting inside onto his right foot, and we know Hatch, he's a left footer. And you just felt like if he was on his left, maybe it would have worked out for a goal. But that 2-1 lead that Wellington Phoenix had heading into those final 20 minutes meant that they were able to sit back. And even in those last 5 minutes, they did bring on an extra centre-back to really just park the bus. And it worked for them in the end. Mariners were pushing and pushing. And in those final moments, just about everyone was forward. And we couldn't find the goal. It was frustrating because the game overall, it didn't feel like a we certainly didn't play poorly. My assessment of the game is that we were in it the whole way through. There weren't many spells of possession where Phoenix were really dominating us and pushing us back. I'd say overall that Mariners were the better team. So everything's there. I think defensively, I think it's not panic stations yet defensively, even though we did concede 2 goals in this game. I think, overall, Ruan and Kai are really, really solid. And across midfield, Max Ballard and Oli Bozanic looking really, really solid. It's just up top, it's about finding that combination that's going to work. I think we really missed someone like Benny Nkolola today, someone with that little bit, he's very direct, he's very aggressive in his play. And even Matt Simon. The physicality of Matt Simon, as excited as we were as Mariners fans to see Sekenis get his A-League debut, he doesn't have the size and stature of someone like Matt Simon. So it's a different sort of feel in that attacking line without someone like Simo. So I'm hoping that Simo will be fit and firing within the next couple of weeks to come back into the side, because I think we are lacking him in the side at the moment as well. And the other player that I feel like a lot of people have almost forgotten about is Nikolai Muller. And I'm excited for Nikolai Muller to come back as well, because I think that might be the kind of play that we need to unlock to bring that little bit of quality in the final third. That's where Nikolai Muller really, really thrives. Josh Nisbet was providing some of that in this game, and I think just having another creative player up top in Nikolai Muller will help to, tee in Marco Arena, or even to grab some goals himself as well. So Nikolai Muller, Matt Simon, Benny Nkolola, these players that we were missing, I think will come into the side and make a positive impact in an attacking sense. So having said that, I think as Mariners fans, there's no reason to be too concerned after this result. I did say it in a podcast episode a couple of weeks ago that I expect Mariners to lose a handful of games in the opening 10 rounds. I think while we especially gets a lot of these new guys in Benny, Sai, Maresh, get these guys settled, we're going to see some mixed results in the opening weeks. But I do believe we can make a push for the top 6. The next game for the Mariners comes on Wednesday, of course, back down there in Wollongong against Wollongong Wolves. It's the FFA Cup Wednesday night. And that should be an interesting game to watch as well, because Wollongong are going to be a tough team to beat. Personally, I'm hoping to see some rotation in that game. And I think especially after a loss like this, it'd be important just to give some different players a run, bringing in starting, Lewis Miller, Noah Smith, Dan Hall, even Yaron Souza in goals, even giving someone like Harry Still a start in the middle of the park as well. Hopefully we can give these other guys a run just to shake it up. And I think it's going to be a few weeks until Monty finds his full strength, like the starting 11 that he prefers. And, at the moment, I feel like there's obviously some players that are in there that are locks in, I guess, Josh Nisbet, Oli Bozanic, Arena, I guess Tongi can rolls at the back as well. But aside from that, it can really chop and change. I'm really excited to sort of see if Monty does tweak anything moving forward. And in terms of A-League, of course, next weekend we travel to Penrith to face MacArthur FC. That's going to be a tough game because MacArthur have actually started the season really, really well. A draw to Wellington Phoenix 1-1, and they've defeated Sydney FC away from home 1-0, kept a clean sheet. They're playing 3 at the back this season. They're going to be a tough side to break down. But Mariners fans, what were your thoughts on the match? Make sure to drop them down in the comments. Would love to hear. Would you make any changes to this Mariners side moving forward after watching our team's display today? If you want to keep up to date to all the Central Coast Mariners and A-League content dropping here at Coast Sports Football, make sure you hit subscribe. If you have enjoyed this video, please hit like because it does help me out a whole lot. Have a good one, Mariners fans, and I'll see you in the next one.